Okay guys, we're going to try to review the final.
This is our first film review.
Yeah, it's our first film review, so yeah, if we fuck up then...
Mentioned director
fuck
of
up.
the year.
Yes.
Start with
Okay, anyways, so we're starting with the storyline. So I'd say the storyline's pretty decent. It's basically about these kids, they're being bullied, and they've been bullied their whole life by the same people, and they basically get sick of it one day and decide, you know what, we're gonna fucking get revenge on these guys, and they decide to torture them to get payback, but they decide not to kill them, they just want them to bear the scars their whole life. And that's basically what the story is, and it's pretty simple, but the way they do it and the way they pull it off, I feel is really decent and really good. So yeah, that's my opinion on it, so I'll pass it over to Chrissy.
Well, what I would say is the story is that it could have been a very tired concept. I mean, people getting bullied, it's the same thing that you may have seen a million times, but this brought it in a whole new way. I would definitely suggest you go and see it. It's not just about the bullying, it's about how they get the revenge, which makes it excellent. Oscar.
Yeah, the story was pretty standard, I'd say. I guess it kept me entertained enough to watch it at least once. So that means it's good, I guess. Yeah, it's, to be honest, any sympathy I had with the people that were getting bullied kind of deteriorated the more and more like sick stuff that they did. So I don't know if that was meant, if that was, you know, the intention or not, but after a while I did want the bullied people that were torturing them, I did want them to just kind of like get fucked up so that they could stop.
That's not pretty fucked up. Okay.
I didn't feel anything.
Okay.
I didn't feel very much.
Thank you, Oscar.
Well, that would be better suited for the characters, but oh well.
The characters.
Yeah. So yeah, basically the characters. Now the characters, they could have been better, I'd say. They're pretty decent, but they could have been better. They're not fleshed out enough, I'd say, in the first half of the film. And I think what would have been an even better idea is to split it into two films. Like one film showing all how they're bullied and how bad it is and everything. Then the second film, you feel more like the anger towards the bullies and really want to see the bullies getting what's coming to them in the second film. And I think it would have been suited a bit more suited to be made like that. However, if they did it that way, it'd just be torture in the second film. So I don't know how that would play out, but. Yeah, so I thought the characters were decent. The bullies, I didn't think they were really that bad. They could have been a lot worse, because they basically just the worst thing they done was break a camera. Spoiler alert. But yeah, so I thought the characters were decent but not great.
Well,
I'll pass on to Chrissy.
You sort of summed up very well. I mean, they didn't pad out the characters enough. Maybe in a slightly longer film, they could have put a bit more of a backstory of not just the bullies and the victims, that they could have gone into why the bullies, or how the bullies were assaulting the victims. Maybe they could have made it more ironic. A woman in the film does get her face burnt, spoiler, but they could have explained why they've done that. So Oscar.
Okay, yeah, the characters were. I think there was only one that they properly made more than just one dimension in it. One of the people that's getting bullied, they like show his.
Yeah, because they showed one of them was really just a pussy.
Yeah, and some stuff like that. Yeah.
Although
like you said, the bullies themselves weren't that unlikable, because I did kind of want them to get free. Although there's that one kid that gets away and they start chasing him. You remember? I can't remember his name, but
he didn't get away. It's just they let him out.
They let him out,
him.
but they still.
He wasn't really a bully. He's just someone that let the bullies get away with it. So
yeah.
Which did seem a bit deep though, because the fact they tortured him as well. Spoiler alert. So
did they? I swear he just gets out and he escapes, but they chase him and he's like, oh.
They get out, then they take him back. Then I think he gets caught by something, and then they take him back in.
Yeah. Oh yeah, but he like sets. Yeah. Anyway, he was.
But anyways, yeah, he just bleeds it out a lot.
So let's move on to the next.
So yeah, the acting. Well, it's a low budget film. You got to realise it's made from like I don't know, $1,000 maybe, because it's an American film. But it's decent for a low budget film. It's not great, but it's good enough. It's adequate, I'd say. It's perfectly fine for this type of film, because you don't really get to know the characters very well, and it's more about the revenge part of the story. It's not much to do with the bullying part of the story. It lasts about 20 minutes for the bullying, and then like they move straight on to the revenge. So the acting's decent, but it doesn't have to be great if it's mostly about revenge.
So what I would say is with the acting, it's a sort of standard you expect from these sort of American sort of war/violence films. For example, Final Destination. It's that same sort of level of acting. It's the same sort of level of acting in those sort of films, but they also didn't put that much emotion into their acting. But I mean, as Marcus said, for that sort of low budget film, you're not going to get anyone you know. But it's worth watching. The acting's not awful, but it will be like the standard you expect. Oscar.
Well, there's nothing more new that can be said. Yeah, there's no bad acting, but it's not particularly special or anything. But there's no part at all that makes you think,
yeah.
whoa, that's horrible.
Adequate.
Oh,
I'm sorry, Oscar, for
yeah, that's it.
So our
So
next,
you're finished, don't you? Okay.
Yeah.
Alright, so
Next
next
area
part
will be-
is atmosphere. So I thought the atmosphere was really well executed actually. I thought they got off the fact that there was, because they used quite a bit of music in the film in parts like demented music, and I don't know what other way to describe it, but I thought they'd done it pretty well and told a pretty good story through the atmosphere, maybe even better than the actual storyline was, but yeah, because it's really pretty dark throughout the whole film. So there wasn't many comedy moments or anything like that, in which sometimes ruin serious horror films.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's basically my opinion on it. Chrissy?
I thought the atmosphere was particularly good. It was a little bit surreal. I liked the music. The score was very sort of gothic. It didn't scare you, but it made you feel as if you were there. You wanted to know what happened. It kept you interesting, but it also kept it suspenseful. As Mark said, you don't want comic relief in this sort of film. You don't, because it's not needed. You wouldn't go to a film to laugh. You wouldn't go to the cinema to laugh at this film, but it will keep you enthralled. Oscar.
Yeah, it was tense.
Thank you, Oscar, for that.
I'd just like to add, I didn't really find this film scary, but I don't find any horror film scary, so I don't know what you want to take away from that. So, yeah.
It wasn't scary, but it was. very
If you want to see a scary film, just go and see Insidious or something. Anyways. So lastly, the gore and the violence. Now, I thought the violence was quite extreme. It suited it, but it's quite extreme. The gore, there wasn't much of it, because it was mostly long angle shots, I think you call it, I can't remember. I should know, I've done a media course. Anyways, so yeah, but there wasn't much gore, but I mean, the violence was pretty extreme and pretty decent in the film, so yeah, that's basically my short and sweet opinion. And we've got to keep it short and sweet, we're running out of time. So, yeah.
Excellent. Nice pun there. Yeah, as Mark said, the gore and violence wasn't too bad. The violence, I wouldn't say it was extreme, but some parts of it were very bad. Gore, the same sort of thing. It wasn't too gory, but there were parts where like some people get their face burnt. I won't give away too much of the story in it. But I wouldn't say it's anything worse than something you've seen before. It won't be like.
I would like to add that it's rated 18 for strong sadistic violence. I think that's a good representation of it, because it's
Yeah,
pretty
even
sadistic,
rating.
but it's not very bloody or anything, so yeah, I'd just like to add.
What's that film with Willem Dafoe?
Never heard of it. Oh, no. Go ahead.
Antichrist.
Alright,
Yeah.
quickly.
It's not that bad.
We're on 7
Oh
minutes
yeah,
here.
okay, yeah, no, it's used to a good
8
extent.
minutes now.
It's not overused, but it's not underused. It's yeah, basically
Alright, so-
it's effective enough.
Okay, so you're done. Okay.
So we'll put our
So
food
finally,
first.
let's just basically give it a rating. Alright, story I would give probably 7, 8 out of 10.
Story I would say is about 7.
6.
Okay. Characters I would give about 6 out of 10.
I would give 5. They were kind of underdeveloped.
Yeah, 5. Me too.
Okay.
Thank you. Acting. What would you give the acting, Marcus?
The acting I would give 4.
I would give 4 as well, simply because it's nothing special.
Yeah, I'll give 5 because it wasn't special, but it wasn't bad.
Atmosphere I'd give a 9.
Atmosphere, I would give it about a 7. It wasn't like the most tense film I've ever seen, but it was still good.
Yeah, I'm good for a 7 as well.
That's good. We'll go with
Alright.
7 as well.
Gore, violence. Gore I'd say about a 3. No, not 3. 6. The violence I'd say about a 8.
I would say about violence I would give a 7. Gore I would give a 4.
Gore like 4. Violence 7. Yeah.
Alright, we're done, bitches. marcussmith50 and chrissys and Oscar signing out.